Hi, today I'm going to be showing you how to draw a cluster of crystals bursting out of a rock. First thing you're going to need to do is take your paper and orient it portrait style. That means nice and tall. So if you have your sketchbook and your pencil ready, you can pause this video, and when you're ready, draw along with me. We're going to start with a triangular shape towards the top of your paper. This is a little dark how I'm drawing, but that's because I want you guys to be able to see it. So if you need to draw lighter until you get it right, that's totally fine. We're going to connect the bottoms of those lines, and it's going to look a little bit like a three-dimensional pyramid. Bring the lines down to create a really tall pillar of crystal. We're going to repeat that shape several times at different heights. So you draw a triangle pointing up, the bottom points down, and there's a line in the middle. The two edges go down, and so does the center. Remember, pause the video as you need to. So I'm going to think about overlapping and doing different heights for these shapes. So while we are just creating the same shape over and over again, we want to have a little bit of variety in the size and the height of each of these crystal pillars. If your lines do overlap another crystal, you decide which one is in front and which one is in the back. You might need to make a little bit of erasing an area to get it to look like one is in front. I'm going to do a little one back here, a little taller, a little thinner, to try and make them all a little bit different, yet still similar. I am trying to create a little bit of balance, even if it's slightly uneven, so that one side of my crystal cluster isn't a whole lot bigger than the other one. Towards the bottom, you might want to erase out a little area so you can put some shorter crystals. And it's okay if you have eraser marks. We're going to be adding color or shading, so it will all get covered up. No worries. Adding in a couple more. This one's going to be behind the other crystal. If you'd like to use a ruler while you're working, you can. I just freestyled mine. Once your cluster looks full enough, you can decide when to stop. I like to make a whole bunch of them. Erase it out, touch it up. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can always touch it up at the end. So at the bottom, we're going to draw kind of like a little rock formation. Oh, here I am touching it up. So coming out from the left side, I did a little bit of a wiggled line and a wiggled line from the right. You can pause it as you need to. Then I go across and connect those two lines with another kind of a little bit of a wiggled line also. Make two lines going down. And kind of do a little copycat line, copying the top line that you did earlier. So this is like the rock, the geode that was broken open. We're going to add some texture because this part would be the outside of the rock. Imagine you found a rock, broke it open, and there were crystals like this. That would be so cool. I'm going to add some texture to the top area here, sort of next to the big crystal cluster formation, just adding some smaller points and pyramid shapes. You can do as much or as little as you want. This section can be kind of freestyled. You don't have to copy mine exactly. I want you to make your drawing your own. I'm just making sure there aren't too many super flat areas. Going in and touching up my drawing. There, now we're ready to add some color. So the first thing you're going to want to do is decide on your color palette. Here I have some crayons in kind of gem tones, blue, magenta, and purple. Or you might want to go with some turquoise, green, dark green, or you can shade it in pencil. Honestly, it's whatever you have with you. So I decided to go with the purple colors because my birthstone is amethyst and it has a lot of these colors. So what I do is choose a random area. I chose this one because it's very large. It's on the right side and I'm right-handed, so that's my reasoning. I kind of darken the edge and then I choose my other colors and I start mixing, layering, and blending them together. I'm trying to leave some areas light or lighter to imagine where the sunlight is hitting the object. So what I'm going to do with this is imagine that there's a light source coming from one direction and all of the areas on that side will be darker and all of the areas on the other side will be a little bit lighter. I'm also going to imagine that there are some shadows where the crystal is blocking the light from shining on other parts of other crystals. If that doesn't make sense to you, just make it darker on the edges and lighter in the middle. But if it does make sense, think about your light source and where the light is hitting the crystal. Here's a little preview of what this is going to look like when it's finished, and a time lapse of how I got to that point. You can see I'm doing a lot of what I was talking about with the darker areas versus the lighter areas. And then I also went in on the bottom, added some more crystal and a little bit of green and pencil to represent the rock area. Finishing it off with a shadow, and I added some little bling lines around the edge of the crystal. Ta-da! Looks pretty nice. You can leave off the bling lines if you want, but I hope you have fun with your crystal drawing. Thanks for coming to art class!